Now, I need my magic wand for this. Last but not least, and I think this is the thing that pissed me off the most, I do not belong to those people who think that Meghan Markle got Prince Harry because he's a prince and she was like headhunting for royalty. I could say the same thing about him. You know, she's an actress, she wasn't famous, but she's a nice looking woman. She didn't work in a supermarket and he wasn't a plumber. It's the same like Angelina Jolie married Brad Pitt. She could have got a plumber. No, her an actress of sorts, him a prince, find each other. That's fine. I am not the one to say, oh, she's not in love with him but just wanted to be royalty. What pisses me off is this virtual signaling, this lecturing, like, we're better than you people. Well, of course you're better. You've got blue blood. But you're not necessarily a better person than I am and millions of others. And whatever you did when you were 11, I don't give a fuck. You don't know what I did when I was 11. But you've got to put this here on the website to virtue signal that already when you were 11, you started doing things to change the world. Now, before we go through this, I pulled up the Wikipedia page just not to get this wrong. All I wanted here was that Rachel Meghan Markle was born in 1981. So mathematically, in 1991 she was 10. In 1992 she was 11 years old. Now, as far as I remember, in 1992, unless you worked for the USA military, there was no internet, there was no social media, and she was just an 11-year-old kid. At that time, she wasn't an actress. Well, I don't think she was, because I didn't find anything stating that she started acting when she was 10 or 11. And no way was she married to a royalty, and no way was she famous. She was just a little kid somewhere in Los Angeles, California. But when she was 11, this has been important to her since the age of 11, when she witnessed a sexist television advertisement and campaigned to have the commercial changed. Due to her determination to fight for what was right, the manufacturer, poor wanker, changed the national commercial. The Duchess of Sussex speaks of this moment as the catalyst for her understanding that one small voice can have one very large impact. Oh, Jesus Christ. If there was anything that I would get rid of on this website, it would be this. Please don't tell me that at 11 you were already so socially aware and woke and social justice warrior that you remember that, and because of that, since you were 11, you decided to change the whole world. As far as I know, you divorced, you don't have a good relationship with your father, I mean, it's all over the press, now you're pissing off from the UK. You're not really keeping up to this moral thing. Last but not least, I'm going to call your bluff on this, Merkel or Markle. If you're going to be writing such virtue high up things like this, please put the proof in. At least explain which commercial it was. Don't put a link because there was no internet at that time, but explain what was the commercial, who was the poor manufacturer, who you buy yourself. Yeah, no Twitter then. I mean, today, if you said don't buy Nike, you'd probably get 1 million people to agree with you for good or bad reasons. But in 1992, there was no internet, and I'd just love to know, how did you do it? Through newspapers, leaflets, phone calls? Excuse me, but I think this is the biggest bullshit that's written on this website. This is going to be a gigantic car crash. I'm not an English bookie. Just common sense-wise, if she doesn't tell him to piss off within the next 2 or 5 years, and he doesn't get his act together, even when she does that and come back to England, England will have you back, Harry. You made mistakes when you were young, going to parties dressed up in funny costumes. You're still young. You're now probably in love. Lots of the UK press is saying being manipulated by this woman. I don't take that stance. You know, a couple want to go off, but they haven't really worked out the pros and cons, and the English people are pissed off because you've basically told the royal household to piss off that you're going to make a new life and still help the Queen, as if the Queen needs this kind of help. Harry, Meghan, this is a car crash.